And it's been said that hard work beats talent every time, but one local star is using both to continually level up against college basketball's best. Our Richie Mills reports. And thanks, Richie. Southern finished 15-17 last season. No doubt Brandon Davis and the Jags hope to improve on that. LSU entered the night on the verge of elimination, needing a surprise starter to step up big time in his first start for the Tigers and facing Tennessee. Despite the win in LSU offense helping their calls early with runners on the corners, Cade Beloso drills this one into the gap. An RBI single gives LSU a 1-0 lead in the first. Junior lefty Nate Ackenhausen, making the most of his first start, sits down 1 in the second, 7 on the night. Can you say Paul who? We go to the top of the 6th. Trey Morgan with a deep shot down the left field line. It's gonna bounce to the wall. Big leadoff stand-up double. Next batter, Gavin Dugas with a perfectly executed bunt down the third baseline. Throwing error at first. Dugas would have probably beat the throw anyway. Morgan's gonna score. Tigers up 2-0. And I gotta say, LSU fans loving life in Omaha. Up 3-0 in the 9th. Dylan Cruz, for good measure, sends this 2-run shot over the right field wall, and that'll do it. LSU wins 5-0, thanks in large part to Nate Ackenhausen's 6-inning, 7-strikeout performance. Coach Jay Johnson talked about his decision to start the Oklahoma native.
I knew he would handle it well. I knew he would throw strikes. Saw some things in the matchup that I liked. Saw some things in previous games here just throughout the tournament that I liked, that I thought he could be effective. The thought really was 60 pitches. My initial target was 12 hitters. And, he obviously accomplished a lot more than that.
And with the win, LSU lives to play another day, and that day comes quick. Tigers on a rematch with top seed Wake Forest Wednesday night. Elimination game on the other side of the bracket, TCU up 2-0 over Oral Roberts. They stretched that lead in the 5th. Cole Fontenelle flares one right in the gap at shallow center. RBI single makes it 3-0 Frogs. Later in the 5th, 2 out, 2 men on, and Anthony Silva brings them both home, makes it 6-0. TCU goes on to win 6-1. Frogs try to stay alive against unbeaten Florida tomorrow afternoon. And the Breakers punch their ticket to the playoffs for the 2nd straight season with a win over Houston Sunday. In the meantime, a cheeky timeout during the first half has made a meme out of New Orleans head coach John DeFilippo. He explains.
Well, there's a little bit of backstory there. I called the timeout, and the kicker kind of looked over at me like, "Really, dude? You're trying to ice me?" Like he kind of gave me a look that I really didn't like. So. That's why I reacted a little bit the way I did. I was pumped but I was more jacked because that kicker gave me a look, and I was like, yeah, dude, I am icing you. So I didn't say anything to him. I don't do that with players. It's not a coach's deal. But if you feel my phone vibrating, it's all my golfing buddies at home that are all sending the memes around to each other from that Twitter thing. So they're having a good time with it as well.
And we should all have a coach like that, Kurt. Breaker Stallions in the USFL South Division Finals. Kickoff in Birmingham Sunday at 7 p.m.
Well, last night, Willie Fritz was named the Bobby Dodd National Coach of the Year. Sunday, Fritz and USC head coach Lincoln Riley met with the media the day before their Cotton Bowl game at Cowboy Stadium. Here's our Aaron S. Lee in Dallas.
When the 16th ranked Green Wave line up across 10th ranked Southern Cal, make no mistake, the moment and the magnitude will not be lost on 7-year Tulane head coach and 2022 Dodge Trophy winner Willie Fritz.
It's really an honor for us to play against a team like USC in the Cotton Bowl. The last time Tulane was in a game like this was 1940, a couple years ago. Anybody at the game? I don't think anybody was. So yeah, we want to finish the year off great, and all our preparation has been toward doing that. So we're excited about the opportunity. I know I keep saying that, but we're just pumped about being able to play the ball game tomorrow, 12-10.
A win won't come easy for the American Athletic Conference champions, who defeated ranked opponents all season long, including Kansas State, Cincinnati, and Central Florida en route to an 11-2 record. But to come away with the W, they must first contend with Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams, a job Coach Fritz says won't be easy.
We've played some teams that have had quarterbacks that maybe can run it like him, or maybe they can throw it like him, but nobody do both, you know. That's why he's a Heisman Trophy winner. You know, you got to have a plan for him running the football, because if you don't, he's going to turn a 10-yard gain into a 60-yard gain.
Coach Willie Fritz and the Green Wave now get a second crack at a Lincoln Riley coach squad. Tulane came within a whisker of defeating number 2 Oklahoma in the season opener in 2021. Let's hope the Green Wave can give Lincoln Riley and the Trojans all they can handle in 2023. From the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Aaron S. Lee, WGNO Sports.
And as Willie Fritz said, game time tomorrow at 12:10 p.m. More on Tulane right now online on our website, WGNO.com. All right, let's bring in our panel to talk about LSU and Kentucky. Aaron Lee, you were with me at the box on Friday. What do you think?
Well, it was easy to see that this LSU Tigers team is on a mission. It's Omaha or bust. Listen, for the Wildcats to win this series, they're going to have to do it in 3 because they're not going to beat Skeens on Friday. Kentucky small ball will not be enough to tame these Tigers in Baton Rouge.
Aaron Esley, you were out there all 3 days, I feel like. All 3 weeks is what it actually felt like. Your mini camp observations.
Oh, without a doubt, Richie. Heat. Lots of it, and the fact that you gave me absolutely no lunch breaks all week. But the thing I like are measurables. And one key measurable this week was Chris Olave and the size he seems to have put on in the offseason, size that will help him all season in those contested catches.
Aaron Esley, you were there.
Absolutely. Days after the win, the state of Louisiana kicked off what is sure to be a summer-long love affair with LSU baseball. A capacity crowd gathered at Alex Box Stadium on Wednesday to celebrate the Tigers' triumphant return from Omaha. LSU baseball took center stage Wednesday night as the Tiger Nation filled Alex Box Stadium to welcome their conquering heroes with a 7th national championship trophy in tow. National Coach of the Year Jay Johnson told the capacity crowd that the road to lucky number 7 started long before his second season in Baton Rouge began.
January 14th, we had a meeting, which was the day before we could start practice or training, as we call it, this spring. And we came up with just a thought process, and we titled it The Road to the Top. And I'll be honest, this is the very first team that I've coached from day one that I believe could win a national championship. On that day, on January 14th, I just asked a very simple question, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? And it was very clear and very serious, Coach, we're going to win a national championship. And so I start with that because it's very easy to know you have a good team or a talented team. It's an entirely different thing to commit to it every single day and then follow that road step by step to the top. And as I said on Monday night, it was more gratifying because we didn't just win the national championship on Monday night. These guys were national championship people and players every day of the 2023 season.
Pitcher Paul Skeens and outfielder Dylan Cruz received national awards as college baseball's best in 2023. Skeens, the Dick Hauser Trophy, and Cruz, recipient of the Golden Spikes Award. Coach Johnson closed the ceremony by assuring the adoring LSU faithful that when it comes to his immediate future, there's no place he'd rather be than Baton Rouge.
State of Louisiana, LSU, you have my entire heart. There's nowhere else in the world that I want to coach baseball than right here, right now. I love you guys.
As celebrations continue this weekend at North Shore High School, the city of Slidell has proclaimed Saturday, July 8th as Braden Joubert Day. And no doubt, Richie, we'll both be there.
Well, yeah, after the way he was hitting the ball in the College World Series, you better give him something, Slidell. Great job by them to make that happen.
To build up speed, so you just have to watch who you're doing and adjust to the gameplay, and I love it.
You know, I mentioned earlier that you retired. You called it in November, you're retiring from the Canadian Football League, from pro football. Why now?
Well, you know what? It's time. It's time for me to share my story. You know, it's time for me to enlighten people with things that I've been through, to where they can use my story as a blueprint to make it through this life, man, to navigate. You know, it's tough, but to have somebody who has been through a lot of adversity and to have made it, I think my story is something that people can use to navigate themselves through life.
How much is A.J. Brown's involvement with the Eagles open the door for Davante this season?
Yeah, you look from a year ago, he was really the #1 receiver for Philly. What it's done is allowed him to have more one-on-one matchups, and you see it week in and week out. It's kind of feast of famine. You take A.J., you roll the coverage his side. Davante is definitely going to get you for 140, 150. You roll the coverage his way. Obviously, A.J. Brown's going to do the same thing. And what's been impressive is what Jalen Hurts has done, distributing football, really finding his matchups. And those two guys really, and, you know, at the end of the day, you can play cover two. They've done a good job of getting the seams. You're playing too high, they're throwing slants behind it. And I'm excited. I'll have my number 6 Smith jersey on Sunday. And everybody in my house will be eating coon and cheering for Devontae Smith, I promise you.
Well, let me ask you this then. That being said, what does Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, what do they have to do to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, we talk about throwing the football. Really, it's going to start with their running game. They do such a tremendous job of tempoing, and people look at them and those two weapons, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but they're really a strong power running team. And once they get that ball going, you look at what they did against the New York Giants. They were able to run the football and really take time of possession away from the Giants offense. They would do it again the following week, which we looked at the San Francisco 49ers defense as, you know, is this the Baltimore Ravens? Is this the Denver Broncos from 2000, the year that they beat Cam Newton in the Super Bowl? And they were trending that same direction. What the Philadelphia Eagles offense was able to do was keep San Francisco offense off the field, but really pound that football, be opportunistic in the passing game. And, you know, Kansas City isn't very strong when it comes to stopping the run. And what it's going to do is allow more one-on-one matchups for A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on the perimeter. And really for Patrick Mahomes, you just got to keep him in front of you, right? You can't let the big plays happen. You know, obviously he's going to be 2 weeks healthy from the ankle injury. So it's going to be interesting to see like how that defensive line can really push the pocket against him and really make him use his legs a whole lot more than he wants to.
Coach, the Breakers are back in the postseason for the 2nd straight year. And in just your first season, you've brought the team to its best record in the modern era. Talk to me about the post-game celebration in the locker room and one league president, Daryl Johnson, hand-delivering you an envelope.
That was a lot of fun. And anytime you can do that as a team, it's really cool. And accomplish something like that, you know, was in goals you set months ago for a group of men that came together with not a lot of prep time, that molded into a really tight-knit, close team in that short time. Just shows the type of people we have in that locker room. And they've done a great job all season. And I couldn't be prouder of those guys. And I'm so proud to be their coach.
What did the envelope, what did it say? And then what was your response?
It said, congratulations, Coach DeFilippo, congratulations. You and the New Orleans Breakers are cordially invited to the 2023 USFL playoffs. And we'll see you on Sunday. And so that was really, really cool. And here we go, round 3 with the Stallions.